This is the relationship narcissist series, and this talk is entitled The Thought You Feed Until It Feeds on You. In episode 12, I exposed how false peace disguises avoidance and delays correction. In episode 13, I'm going to show how repeated attention strengthens thoughts until they begin to govern behaviour. The thought you keep feeding will eventually start feeding on you. Thoughts don't remain neutral repetition. They don't remain neutral under repetition. What you return to consistently, whether fear, offence, desire, imagination, gains strength, influence, and eventually behavioural control. Teaching point number 1, viewers. Attention is the fuel of thought. What you revisit, you reinforce. The mind does not distinguish between useful focus and destructive fixation. It simply strengthens what is repeated. You return to the same thought without interruption, which gives it reinforcement, which expands it, which entrenches it in your mind. You give time and focus to what should be dismissed. That's permission, that's allowance, which will give it growth. And you allow repetition to become familiarity. It becomes comfort, acceptance, normalization. So now repetition, rumination, looping, a dog chasing its tail in the mind becomes normalization. And this leads to thoughts gaining strength until they begin directing your reactions. In other words, your thoughts become your master instead of your servant. Teaching point number 2, viewers. Unchallenged thoughts evolve into authority. Unchallenged thoughts evolve into an authority in the mind. And when a thought is repeated without testing, it begins to define perception, emotion, and response. Number 1, you accept the thought without questioning it. You go into agreement, which descends into submission, which then becomes an influence. Number 2, you interpret reality through repeated ideas. You interpret reality through repeated ideas, and they may not be the right ideas. This leads to distortion. This leads to filtering away from truth, and you become biased towards the easy way out, which may not be good for you. Number 3, you respond based on the internal narrative instead of the reality, the truth. And this reaction leads to misjudgment, which leads, unfortunately, to error. Teaching point number 3, viewers. Control begins with interruption and replacement. Hang on, viewers, I'll get rid of this. No. You cannot simply remove a thought. You must confront it, expose it, and redirect it. You identify the thought at the moment it appears. Identify it when it comes in. Oh, I remember this thought. Become aware of it. Detect it. This gives you a precision. This makes you return to being the master of your mind. You challenge its accuracy and authority. You test it. And if it doesn't pass the test, you correct it. And then then you reject it Under correction, you reject it. I'm not accepting that thought. I'm not going to drink again. I'm not going to gamble. I'm not going to see him or her again. I'm not going to take drugs again. You reject it. You replace it with the truth. It's better for me to go in the other direction. You take action. You discipline yourself. You realign yourself. You become stable and order begins to return. And this places in your mind, this places your mind under discipline instead of passive conditioning. Now here's a scenario. A negative thought about a person or situation keeps returning throughout the day. Your brain is reinforcing a pattern through repetition and familiarity. The heart is being shaped by what it continually entertains. And then the body responds with tension, aggravation, or emotional fatigue relative to what your conclusions are. So let's reflect. What thought have you been feeding that is now starting to feed on your behaviour? It's depending on your negative behaviour. Here's a resistance check. Are you allowing the thought to remain because it feels justified? Number 2, have you repeated it enough that it now feels true? Number 3, are you feeding it with time, focus, and emotional energy? Well, let's do a root cause check. Do you rely on certain thoughts to maintain a sense of control or identity? Number 2, are you avoiding confronting the thought because it would require change? Number 3, have you mistaken familiarity of these thoughts with truth? Well, let's take some immediate action. The moment the thought repeats for the second time, write one sentence only. Is this thought true, necessary, and constructive? And test it. Then either reject it, correct it, or replace it with a disciplined action. Before we close, here's a proverb, viewers. A man or a person guards his field from weeds. So must he guard his thoughts from growth that consumes him, lest what he tolerates rises and overtakes him. In closing, viewers, if you continue feeding the wrong thoughts, they will grow beyond suggestion and become control, shaping your words, reactions, and direction. But if you interpret, challenge, and replace them with disciplined truth, you reclaim authority over your mind and establish order where chaos once grew. In the next episode, viewers, episode 14, the habit you defend while it destroys you, I'm going to expose how repeated behaviours become protected patterns, even when they are producing damage. We can protect things that damage us. I'm Dr. JWAU, Pro Theologist Count Straight on YouTube, Pro Theologist Pro Bricky on Facebook. Like, share, subscribe to this channel to encourage me along. Make a comment. I like listening to the comments. And I'll see you in episode 14, the habit you defend while it destroys you.